Okay, my name is Bill Bittaker. I live in Route 3 Dover. This is a 1940 Ford Standard Coupe with a 60 horsepower engine in it. My dad bought this car when it was 1 year old, and we've had it in the family ever since. It's going to be my son's car then. And we restored it completely, finished it in 1996, and we've been showing it ever since.
My name is Bill Haney. I'm from Mineral City, and I bought this Edsel back about 22 years ago down in North Carolina. I saw it in a used car lot, and it looked kind of lonesome there, and I thought, that is an ugly car. I'm not supposed to say it's an ugly car, but I thought it was an ugly car, so ugly it needed somebody to restore it to make it look at some better. So I brought it home on a tractor and trailer that I drive, and brought it home and had it totally restored. I had, of course, first the body work, some of it, and one piece of chrome I needed, and I had a guy take the paint off and paint it, and then I had the bumpers re-chromed. And another year or so after that, I rebuilt the transmission, recored the radiator, and overhauled the engine, bored it out 30 thousandths over.
This is 1950 Buick. I've had it for 14 years. Been 2 or 3 years getting it all up and running, but it's now running very good. And it looks pretty good, so I'm kind of proud of it now.
What all did you have to do to get it running?
Well, we done a lot of things to it that basically it was real solid and real good shape, but it's got a V8 motor in it now, and it's got an automatic transmission, and it's a lot different than it was the day I bought it. So it's been modified some, but looking at it, it's original everywhere on the outside. Even the inside is original, but other than that, it's real drivable. Very good.
Okay, my name's Gene Tinlin. It's a 1961 Cadillac with a 390 cubic inch motor and a 325 horsepower.
How long have you had it?
I've had this for 11 years. Well, this one has no power on except the power antenna, power brakes, power steering. And it's very rare, no power windows, no power seats. It's a very rare car as far as power goes.
My name is Boland, Bob Boland. I'm from Dover, and this is my wife Shirley and her nephew. And it's a 1934 Ford 5-window coupe. It's got a 302 engine in it with a Mustang 2 front end, automatic transmission, and it's a resto rod. It took me about 4 years to build it with the help of some friends, and we worked really hard on it. We drive it all the time, and we enjoy it very much. We take it to car shows, and it's won about probably 80%. It's been really well accepted, but it's just like part of the family.
My name's Joe Warner. I'm from Bethesda, Ohio. My car is a 1956 Chrysler Windsor. It's a 331 poly head, automatic transmission, push button automatic. I bought it in '97 in Martins Ferry, Ohio. It sold new in Ohio. It had 42,000 miles on when I got it. It's got 59 on it now. I drive it everywhere I go. We do a lot of shows. It's all original except the paint, and I painted the green and the sides on the white. The top has never been painted. It's got the original paint on the top. Basically, that's it. It's just an original car. I've had it to the Mopar Nationals, and out of that show, you can get 220 points, and I had 212.
Okay, my name's Alan, and this is my wife, Karen. This is a 1969 Pontiac Firebird that we've had for the last 3 years. After I bought this car, I found out that it was the original car I bought in 1969 and sold in 1970. And we're in the process now of putting it back to the way it was in 1969. I seen it going down the street, and I said, I used to own one like that. And I followed him and asked him if he wanted to sell it, and he said no. And then about 6 months later, it was in the paper, so I bought it back, and then I did a Pontiac historical service thing on it and found out it was the car I had in '69. So it was kind of interesting to buy the same car back. Basically, the inside was just cleaned up and recovered the seats.
My name is Marty Phelps, and this is my Dodge 1963 330 series. It's all original. I think it has been painted before we got it. It has a Y-block 318 engine in it, and it used to be a driver's training car. But actually, for being a driver's training car, it's in pretty good shape. It's got 79,000 original miles on it. And the only thing we've had to do to it since we've had it is put a water pump on it, and we've had it for 3 years. They used to run these, the two-door ones, down at Magnolia as drag cars. And a lot of people look at it and think that it's a drag car, and it doesn't have a gear shift, it has push-button transmission.
Hi, I'm Kathy Guerin. I'm from Canton, Ohio. We own this 1952 Dodge Cambridge. It's original. We actually are the third owner of it. We bought it in Texas. It was originally bought in Sherman, Texas. We found it in a field in Texas, and we drove it out of that field. Had a little clutch problem, but other than that, it was perfect. It is completely original except the interior, which we had to have restored. It was mohair, and we did have it painted, but there was no body work involved. It was just faded.
I'm Dick Amy, and this is my wife, Bev. We're having a great time with this pretty Bonneville. We've had it about 1.5 years. We're on our way to St. Louis to the Pontiac Nationals. We're going to be one of about 1,000 Pontiacs out there. We drove down today. We left home this morning in Breesport, New York at about 3 a.m. And here we are, something to do this evening since we're staying here in town overnight. And we're going to continue on to St. Louis tomorrow. Okay, this is a 370 cubic inch engine, 1 4-barrel carburetor, probably about 330 horsepower, and it has rear air conditioning, which is very unusual for 58s. That Pontiac air conditioner is very, very rare. The one down underneath the dash. It is a Pontiac unit. Cool pack. We didn't have to do a great deal to this car. It was excellent shape when we got it. I put the Continental on it, did a little bit of re-chroming, some detailing on the engine, and it's ready to go. And we love driving it, and that's the best part of it.
Okay, my name is Sean Cunningham from New Philadelphia, Ohio. It's a 1967 Pontiac Bonneville, has a 400 in with 4-in turbo transmission. It's all original, completely original car. Original paint. It's pretty much just spotless. I got it last October. Haven't really got to do much to it that I wanted to, but you know how that goes. Kind of the money issue.
My name's Ron DeMail. I come from Mineral City, Ohio. This was my second love in my life. 1957 Ford Ranchero. There was 21,705 of them produced. Sold for around $2,090. Weighs 3,220 pounds. Has a 312 V8 engine in it, automatic. The big fallback on these when they built them, that people thought they were buying pickup trucks and they were buying a car. And it was nothing to see them going down the road with a ton and a half on them with the back bumper dragging on the road. And so a lot of them didn't survive on account of that reason.
Okay, my name is Lynn Neese, and this is a 1997 Cadillac that's been converted to a pickup truck. Okay, as you can see, it's been changed to a pickup by, first off, cutting off the roof and moving it forward 11 inches. And then the bed is all hand built out of sheet metal. And it's got curly maple bed floor in it with chrome strips. And the paint finish on it is a 3-stage paint system made by House of Color, which is called Cosmo Red.
Is this your idea to do this?
It's my original idea, yeah.
What made you pick this car then?
I studied different cars, and I just felt I could make a nice looking pickup out of an Eldorado.
Okay, my name is Emerson Royer. This is a 1936 Ford pickup mounted on a Ranger chassis with a 302 engine and a C4 transmission.
How long have you had it?
I've only had it about 6 months.
Pretty fun to drive? Pretty good?
Yeah, a lot of fun to drive. Gets a lot of tension.
Excellent. Thanks so much.
That toolbox cost me $600.
My name's Darren Raver, and this is a Honda Civic. It's a 1979 1200.
How long have you had it?
About a year.
Is it fun to drive?
Yeah, it's fun to drive.
Okay, Dennis Ton from Massillon, Ohio. It's a 1938 Chevrolet Business Coupe. It features chameleon paint, which changes color, 4 different colors. Depends on how the light looks onto it. It has a 9-speaker stereo system in it with DVD and custom interior. And
How long have you had it, or when did you have it all done?
about a year and a half I've had it.
And you had all the modifications done, everything like that?
Yes. It took about a year to do it. It has a 350 small block of a 700R transmission, air conditioned, cruise control, about everything Mom's Lincoln has.
Larry LeMasters from New Philly, Ohio. 1952 MG replica.
And tell me a little bit about it.
It's got a Chevette 1986 4-cylinder 1600 Chevette drivetrain in it with a 4-speed. Runs pretty good.
And you just got it, but do you get out and drive it a lot and stuff? Or?
Yeah,
We go cruising a lot.
we go cruising around a good bit.
Yes.
You were showing me earlier about storage under the seats and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's got the built-in coolers under both seats. Both seats.
What are other interesting or unique things there? It's got the
Stereo,
We
which
need
I'm going
to-
to change that. I'm going to put a CD player and stuff in it.
Well, that's an interesting thing to do with the Chevette. It looks a lot better than a Chevette, so.
Yeah, oh yeah. Then I got the different tail lights for it. I'm going to change them out.
So we just got to do some work.
Well, thank you so much for showing it to us.
Okay, gladly.
All right, I'm Dustin Kilgore. This is a 56 Chevy. It has a 350 Chevy with a 350 turbo tranny, Cadillac tilt column and drop spindles. It's pretty much all original other than that. Car will flat out haul. It's a nice cruiser, nice Saturday night car to race from light to light. Real fun car. Me and a buddy of mine restored it.
Look at this 62 Ford Fairlane, unrestored original.
Hi, I'm John James, one of the chairmen for the First Town Days Car Show. We've been putting on for about the past 20 years, and this year has been exceptional. We've drawn in at least 160 automobiles, new, old, and everything, something for everybody. And we have a pretty laid-back show here. It's nobody gets too excited. They just come out and have a good time and go over and hit the park for grub and rides, and kids have a circus, and that's why the show is the way it is. We don't get too excited about trophies. We just give out a little money to the Queen's Choice, the Mayor's Choice, the oldest driver, committee choices, and the furthest driven.
Do you know roughly how far the farthest driven was today?
Well, the furthest driven today was kind of a fluke. The fellow is in transit to the Pontiac Nationals up in Michigan, and he's in transit from New York, so he's driven about 650 miles and stopped in Philly at a motel and heard about the show and thought he'd just come over here. So these are my 54 Mercurys, the standard hard top and the glass top, the Sun Valley. I've owned the red Mercury was restored in 1974, and the green one, the Sun Valley, probably 5 years ago, in the late 90s. And I've always liked them, and not too much. I can tell stories here all day on them, but it just kind of, they're my car. I had one before I went in the Navy in the 50s, and there's just a lot of nice things I can tell you about Mercury. This one here is a standard shift with overdrive. It's the first year for 54, had the overhead valves, ball joint suspension, and the other car's got the automatic, called a Merc-O-Matic. This is, like I said, this is an all-leather interior done by J.E. Roll in New Philadelphia, Ohio. A renowned trimmer. This fella is so good. I mean, I'm not doing a plug, but Jim is a good trimmer. He does a lot of classic cars, Packards, Lincolns, Pierce Arrows, and everything like that. It's just a super car, leather all over. And this was the thing in the 50s that they liked on cars, and I parted out, got this car in 1969 for, you're not going to believe this, for a price of $15, and the guy delivered. It was in Uricksville, Ohio, and we came home from a Little League ball game, and the car was in the driveway. I'd come home with the kids, and there was a note on the front seat with the title. It said, "Send me $15." And nobody wants to believe it, but that's the truth. This has the same type of interior, only a little different. The glass top, the upholstering runs a little different, skews the clutter. And the Jim Roll did this interior too. And these seats are different, see? Where you have, this was the Sun Valley interior.
Oh, wow.
And then like over here, it had this roll and pleat here. See, that was the regular Mercury interiors.
Somebody said that you do get kind of a green tinge or something of light in there.
Yeah, it's, like I said, they're rather warm, but that was one of the things that kind of killed them.
Yeah.
See, these cars, they offered air, but not many cars had air, see? And they wanted to give this look with the hardtop, and then had that open look. And it's really fun to drive at nights, in the evenings, see your traffic lights up above and the trees going by, and just a good effect. But the car didn't really fly. They made it in 54 and 5, and then Ford continued it on in the Crown Victorias into 56. And, but then that's when it ended.
Okay, Harry Jones, Newcomerstown, Ohio. I'm at Tuscarora Park in New Philly, and I've got a 65 Corvair Corsa. It's got the 4 carbs. It's a 164 turbo air, 140 horsepower. I just had the car rebuilt this winter. My son rebuilt it. It runs real good, real nice driver out on the road. We have a lot of fun with it, and we really enjoy this car. I've got 2 other cars that I show, but we show this in a lot of the big shows because it gets a lot of attention, and that's what we're here for, to show what we got, I guess. And when I got it, the seats and everything was out of it, just hanging loose in there, and the boy that tore it down said all the parts and everything was in there, and I got checking, and everything was in there down to the last bolt, last screw, so we got lucky that way, and I've put a little bit of extra on it, but not too much. The chrome and everything's original.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if we have your attention, we're gonna make our awards now.
My name is Justin Patterson. This is a 1991 Honda Civic. I did a bunch of lighting work, stereo system, intake, exhaust. I got underbody lights, strobes in the corners. I got strobes in my speaker box.
Did you do all? Well, thanks for showing us your car.
All right.